Thank you so much for having me. I will be hopefully elected on November 7th, and I'll be the only Asian American Pacific Islander on council to represent all of you.
他说非常希望11月7号这天，他可以当选当咱们这个市议员。然后呢，他会是我们第一位亚洲裔的市议员。
And like you, I am also a small business owner, like many of you here. So I understand for us to do business properly, we must have good environment. For us to go to school, for our children to not be bullied, for us to just walk on the street and not get violence against us, all important things for Philadelphia to thrive. And I see Wei Chen here, who's been doing a lot of work in our community for a long, he was a baby when he started.
尼亚说，他这个作为亚洲人，他呢会一定为我们亚洲人的这个利益着想，会让我们社区非常安全，让我们亚洲人不会被欺负。
So did you want to do questions or how did you want to do this?
所以妮娜呢想让我呢跟大家一起问题，看你有什么想让他给您解答的。
And thank you for organizing and contributing.
The purpose of the meeting today, is the ChineseUS.org help organize, so we'll help our community to meet the candidate. And she is a candidate for the councilman at large.
Yes.
Before election day, so hopefully we know each other. We'll be able to vote for her.
Thank you. Yes, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you to Hong for organizing everywhere. See Hong everywhere, right? But that's what we need to do. We need to engage with the bigger community, not just amongst ourselves, right? So it's very important. I see you, I see Ricky. She's a successful businesswoman. A lot of successful women. That's right. So we're looking in the future, if I'm lucky and you all vote for me and get me across the finish line, we really need to work on making Philadelphia a safe and prosperous city for everyone. Because we know in Chinatown, there's a lot of poverty, especially amongst our seniors. We have to make sure our seniors are taken care of. And sometimes we forget them. So I want to make sure that we have a city that protects all of them. We leave no one behind.
所以妮娜这个市议员的候选人呢，非常感谢呢，今天呢就这个花儿赞美中举办这个活动，然后呢，他想先跟大家要强调，就是作为这个候选人，希望能够当了议员之后呢，最重要的一件事情就是我们这个 Chinatown 我们这个唐人街的治安问题是非常非常重要的。
Most important, number 129. That's the ballot number.
非常重要，我们大家投票的时候是它的这个号码是129。对，这是非常重要的。
So So, I served as a deputy mayor before in the city. So I know one side of the city. Now I'm going to be working to make some good laws so we can all be safe and prosperous in the city.
他以前是在这个市长的办公室工作，所以呢，他对副市长的办公室工作，所以呢，他对市里边的这个很多的政策非常熟悉。他希望以后能更好服务大家。
And I've also served President Obama on the Asian American and Pacific Islander Commission when he was president.
而且呢，在这个奥巴马这个总统在任时呢，他也是曾经是他的顾问，为这个亚洲事务提供很多的这个建议。
So I want, as city council person, to get federal government, state, and local government, which is where I will be, to work together to help us make some solutions.
他希望呢，如果他当议员之后呢，可以让州政府、联邦政府和市政府都能够在一起合作，为我们费城做更多的事情。
Do you want me to say a little bit about who I am? Sure.
大家有什么问题吗？刚才我看有人举手。
Yeah, this is Mark Xu, by the way. I'm a business owner here.
Yes.
But I'm ill.
That's okay. You're allowed.
Yeah, the top one concern for me, for the city of Philadelphia, is the public safety.
Yes.
And beyond that is the economic development, right? If you were a city representative, how could you make Philadelphia a safer place? How to promote the economic development in Philadelphia?
Absolutely. Good question. Okay, we're going to translate.
刚才这位先生呢，他呢是一个企业主，所以呢，他想问一下我们大家都关心的一个问题，就是第一个是这个社会上的现在的治安，然后呢，还有就是市政府可以做什么事情，帮我们把地区的经济可以做得更好。下面请我们听这个市议员给我们回答。
So about safety first, right? We all have to remember COVID made a big difference in this problem, right? Everybody was home. Some people had to live in very small spaces. We didn't have proper school. Children were not engaged. And we lost a lot of people. The police department doesn't have enough people. Other public service, a lot of empty spaces. When you call 911, people don't answer. We have to fix all those problems. I think we have to have community policing, meaning police who knows the community, not just riding around in cars and just start shooting at people, but knowing the community so you know who is doing well, who is going to have a problem, right? We already know. It's just a small number of people causing so much problem. I'm a scientist by training, so I want to use the data to see where is the problem, are we putting services there, where there's no problem, we have different services. Right now, we're just all over the place.
他呢，丽娜呢，他呢给我们大家介绍了一下呢，就是疫情呢对我们这个社会呢有很多的负面影响，很多工作丢失了，然后大家在很小的环境里面工作，然后呢使这个社会呢会已经变得更加的动荡。他建议呢，作为警察，如果想更好的做这个治安的维护工作，希望警察对我们社区有更详细的了解，知道到底是什么样的人在做什么样的事。然后他说呢，他作为一个科学家出身，所以呢，他对数据是很清晰的了解的。他希望呢，这个作为这个治安管理可以更科学的去研究到底问题出在哪里， 如何更科学的去解决。
We also need police from our communities. So the police looks like us. The police know our customs, right? We have some Asian American police officers, but not enough, right? So in Chinatown, if we had people who knew Chinatown, knew, how our businesses work, what we need, much easier than having someone coming who doesn't know anything, doesn't know the language, doesn't know the customs, to learn everything and then police, right? So it's important that we have a very diverse police force.
他说非常重要一点呢，就是希望在这个警察局里面的警察，他本人是跟他社区的种族是相接近的。举个例子，在中国城是不是有中国的警察，或者是在亚洲的群体中有亚洲的警察，这样他才能够对当地的情况更加了解，而且会有更少的语言上的这个差距。所以这是需要我们进步去做的。
And then there's many other pieces to safety. One is police. One is making sure when we see dumping, when we see people putting trash, all of those things, we clean that up. When you don't respect your own community, that's when all the crime happens, right? So we have to make sure the illegal dumping is actually by big companies. They come to the city, they throw their waste, their tires, because they think no one will care. And we're not giving services. So the people who live there feel nobody cares about them. So we have to first thing clean it up regularly, have street cleaning, for small streets, have proper equipment that cleans properly. And then you have some pride in your own community, and you don't let it happen.
他说还有另外一个问题，就是很多治安不好的现象，是因为有很多大的公司把很多外地的垃圾扔到了一些社区，扔到一些街道，导致呢这个混乱的现象，它滋生了更多的治安不好的现象。所以他希望政府呢会花更多的时间的精力，阻止这样的事情发生，然后把这个街道都弄得很干净，这样呢会让我们的治安会更好。
And one other thing we have seen data for when it's clean and green, with trees, its leaves are picked up, crime is low. University of Pennsylvania did a study. The Department of Public Health did a study that showed that.
他说，州政府有做过专门的调查，当街道非常干净，然后绿化做得很好的时候，这个社会的治安会好很多。
So there's many pieces to how do we control the violence, how do we make people safe, but too long, all day it'll take to do, but we'll move on to the economic development. So when you start a small business, you need capital. And we need to make sure our small businesses know where to go to get capital. How you put your business plan together so that you can survive. Right? So one of the things we want to do is we have to look at is the taxes. We reduced our wage tax a little bit this time, and the business income receipts tax, that has an exemption. Businesses that have gross receipts of 100,000 don't have to pay it. But small businesses that have a little higher, like 200,000 is still not very big business, they have to pay a high amount. So I want to increase where they don't have to pay the exemption, make it go higher. Before I do that, I have to make sure the money you lose from that, I can get the money from somewhere else. So we can clean your streets and give you police and do all of that.
他说，为了刺激咱们这个经济，很重要一点呢，就是市政府在工资税和这个每一个企业的营业税上面可以做更多的减免。他说，现在营业税是10万以下是不需要交税的，但是10万以上就需要交税。他说可以不可以？他希望能够把这个限额提高到20万。但是如果做这样的话呢，他会有更多的工作，需要从 别的地方把这个资金找来，因为我们社区还是需要有市政府的这个资金来支撑的。
So I want to give you an example of small business that worked locally with Chinatown and PCDC. You know PCDC? The Crane Building. That Crane Building, we're the developers. We worked with PCDC to make that. And so we brought the resources, because PCDC is a small nonprofit. They don't have the expertise to make such a big building. So my husband and I own a company that worked with them to create that $75 million project. Should I stop? And then I'll go more.
所以呢，伊娜给我们介绍，她跟她先生原来的公司呢是专门帮这个建筑公司提供一些服务的，所以呢，现在在中国城的这个 PCDC 的这个鹤顶区这个 Crane 这个这栋楼，就是当时他们帮助当时解决了很多问题来建造的。
So when the city of Philadelphia never gave Chinatown a recreation center, and there's always been a need for that. We have the basketball team that Harry Leung runs, the Suns, no place to play. Go here and there. So when this plot of land was given to PCDC, when they made 676 go through and break up Chinatown, it turned into this. And for a long time, they were sitting and thinking how to make this happen because it takes a lot of money. So our expertise is putting money together, finding different sources in order, like you get a bank loan, you get new market, the different things from government you can get, put it together, new market tax credits, and private investment that came completely Asian investment. All the equity in this building comes from Asian businesses, Asian people. So we built that with a basketball court that I don't know many of your children might have used. I was there this weekend. The place was full. There's a Head Start children's preschool. That's Carol Wong. Carol Wong's school is over there. Many of the children who go to school there are on subsidy, but they have the best probably surroundings than any other preschool in the city. Nice, clean, beautiful, new for young children to know we love them and give them good space. So there's many other resources there, and on top are apartments. That's how you can subsidize all what is going on in the second and third, fourth floor.
所以伊娜介绍呢，比方说这个 PCDC 建的这个鹤顶区，当时呢，它需要很多资金和各个方面的支持。曾经呢，就是他们的公司呢，在这个方面提供了各个方面的帮助。所以呢，这是他们的在这个经济和这个当地就是把经济推动，这是他们的强项。对，就是想跟大家介绍一下。
Yeah, so that's an example of how nonprofit can work with business to make more resources for our city. But looking at other small businesses starting up, when you have a restaurant, we need to make sure we talk to the health department so they're clear what the rules are. Don't shut you down or don't make trouble for you before. So you have the relationship before so you know how to go about it. There's a story about the Vietnam Benny's restaurant on 11th Street. The Vietnamese restaurant, there is Vietnam Place, I think it's called, or Vietnam, the one on next to the Vietnam, not the one across the street, but the one on this side. So when they started that, the mother started that with her sons, the health person came around to tell them what to do. They were making some mistakes. They didn't find them, they didn't do anything, just said, this is how we should be doing business. And then, before getting fined, they were able to fix everything. And there's an article in the newspaper about this, how city services can be helpful to our community instead of just fining and saying, you're wrong, this is bad. Let's work before so we can follow the code rules and have good, solid businesses. And you don't get to shut down. Every time you shut down, you lose money, right? You have no business. So we need to have those relationships like that, so people understand what the city wants.
然后他举个例子，希望呢就是政府和这个小企业大家可以合作。举个例子，两个餐馆，他刚才讲的是一个越南餐馆在11节，当时呢市政府的这个卫生部门呢来做检查的时候发现一些问题，但是呢他们市政府呢并没有把这个餐馆关掉，而是交给这个餐馆老板如何正确的做这个卫生的步骤，这是一个非常好的方法。因为真正政府的目的并不是让企业不能营业、不能有收入，而是应该告诉他们如何正确的去运作，这样子我们大家就可以避免这个经济上损失。
And another thing I'm very interested in is health, right? Mental health. So I, as a child, lived through a war, lots of trauma. And if we don't fix our trauma, it affects us in our life. In Philadelphia, we have lots of community with lots of trauma. They've escaped something, or they have a lot of problems living here. Mental health is important, but also mental health in a culturally confident way. Meaning, just like adult police should know the community, our health providers should also understand the community they're serving. So I'm really looking at having more mental health resources to address violence, to address people's issues, so that before we need to get police involved, we can have a mental health solution.
他现在又讲非常重要的一点就是心理健康问题。他说，其实很多的时候，举个例子，他自己从小就是在一个战争的一个国家，所以知道，这些冲击，这些不好的这个，其实是一个非常不好的一个记忆，对我们大家的这个心理是有很多不好影响。
Which country?
Yeah.
Bangladesh. It's a small country next to India. And when it was
对，在印度旁边的孟加拉这个国家。
when the War of Liberation was happening, I was a young girl and I lived through that. They had tanks go down my street, dead bodies on the side, 3 million people killed in 9 months.
他说，在9个月内300万人被杀死，所以这个街道上哪里都是尸体遍地，非常残忍。
And 250,000 plus women and girls sexually brutalized.
有20多万妇女和儿童被这个性侵，对。
Still happening in the world today.
他说，其实今天还有很多悲惨事情还在这个国家里发生。
So if you have any, yes.
我还是想问啊，非常感谢小红邀请丽娜和我们见面，也和丽娜见面，对不对？
对，非常very thank 小红 very much for inviting me and talking with us.
Yes, thank you. You know, we have to talk to people. I don't have all the answers. You have some questions and answers. I have to listen as a council person.
感谢大家认识了丽娜，认识很多新的朋友。但是我有一个问题是啥呢？就是希望改变我们的费城，不要像洛杉矶、纽约和三藩费城那样，怎么样？我想问一问新的议员，怎么样子保证我们城市不会变成像洛杉矶和纽约那样，现在变得到处是犯罪啊，到处是这个有很多这个外来的犯罪分子什么的。我觉得这是非常重要的问题。
So he wants to ask, he hopes Philadelphia won't become like New York, San Francisco, or Los Angeles. Yeah, a lot of crime and also a lot of a lot of drugs and a lot of people from outside the city causing a lot of trouble.
Yes, no, I agree.
我在一个我也是小贝利斯的公民， 因为我有很多客人，我是 realtor，I'm a realtor， 有很多客人在费城，因为费城现在就存在 eviction 问题也很严重，因为啥呢？我觉得是一个系统的问题。我希望就以后议员上来能够怎么样去改变这个问题？因为啥呢？为了保护个人的私有财产合法，是在美国宪法上面保护的，对不对？因为现在恰恰是因为很多这个房产的拥有者 owner 客人也去被非法就是租客占领，而且不能以为是政府在保护他们，我觉得这是对有产对私人财产是不合理的，对他们是不公平的，这是也应该是宪法对他们应该有所保护。我希望会以后有所能改变。第三个问题就是今天我看到有很多年轻人在成长，Nina 也是一个 Asian young girl， 小红也是 Asian young girl， 陈薇，我非常高兴看到年轻人在成长，希望他们以后上去之后，议员如果这个选举成功，能够帮助更多的年轻人参与政治。为社区发出声音，为唐人发出声音，为 Asian 发出声音，为美国人发出声音。非常感谢，Thank you。
So yeah, he had 2 points. One is he's talking about he is a realtor and he is a landlord. From their point of view, he really would like the city to help the landlord because there's I think there's like a new laws and freeze on the eviction, yeah, for the tenant. But for the landlord, it's a lot of economic problems, yeah, a burden. So he is looking for help from the city.
Okay, the first part.
Yeah, that's the first part. Yeah. Second part, actually, he is very happy to see more Asian faces. Like you, like me, and Hong Mei, and there are a lot of other ones like Chen Wei, and then, yeah, he wants more Asians get involved in politics and the government, and to help the city to be better.
Yes. So, first question about the eviction problem. Again, we had a pandemic. People lost their jobs, they couldn't go to work, and we also have very low wages. So we don't have enough affordable housing. We have to do that to make sure people can afford the house, not just to have the house, but also have to afford it. So we need some programs to have people pay for it. The federal government does that, right? So we just have to see how hard it's working. But about the evictions, your small business, you have to pay your mortgage, you have to make sure your business is fine. If the tenant can't do it, I've been starting to think about, can we have a separate fund set aside for situations where, and they did it in the pandemic, the landlord was given some money and tenant, if there is a way to say, this tenant is a good tenant but lost the job. Not a bad tenant. Bad tenant means not keeping the house nicely and all. That's a separate matter, right? But someone who's a good tenant, lost their job, doesn't have the ability to pay, do we have a fund set aside that can help temporarily for that situation? We have a lot of services in the city that the landlord can use and the tenant can use. Many people know nothing about it. So, for example, we have something called the homestead exemption. So homestead exemption is when you own your house, you can take $80,000 off the value and you pay tax on the remaining amount. So 20% of Philadelphians who are eligible don't use that. But that would be $11,000 in your pocket, right? If you knew how to use that. So we need everybody who's an owner to understand to use that program. I actually want to make it automatic so that you don't have to file and write for everybody who is eligible. We know, we have data. We say which house, who belongs, what they are eligible, just give you that, right? That will help you make sure you have some money in your pocket. And from the tenant side, we have to make sure we have the landlord who is participating in a program for affordable housing understands they have to take Section 8 voucher, or they have to have some other means from fund, and make sure that money is being added to what the tenant can pay themselves. we have some programs like that. We can increase it. So our tenants who are no fault of their own, because there are no good jobs that are paying good money, they can't afford the home. So we have to make the Section 8 HUD programs, PHA programs much better, cleaner, so the landlord can get the money straight. There's many other options like that we have to investigate, but I also want to set up a fund, temporary fund, that when you're having trouble and you can't evict because of the law, we can put some money in your pocket from what you're missing. So we have to find and make a fund like that.
是这样子，他讲，其实政府是有很多工作可以帮这个，可以帮这个房东的。第一个就是作为房东，我们自己的房子住房是，其实它是有一个 homestead exemption，就是说8万以内的这个地税是可以不交的。他说，其实有20%的人都没有利用。他说，希望他能把它变成一个自动的，这样子每一个房东可以享受这个优惠。第二个呢，就是我们其实政府对于这个低收入人呢有很多的帮助，比方说像这个PHA 或者 Section 8。他说这个呢，这些项目呢，其实可以做得更好，让这个房东和这个房客都可以得到帮助。第三点呢，他是希望能够政府做一个暂时的一个基金，帮助这些不能交房租的人，可以帮他们交房租，这样子呢，帮助房东跟房客有一个在他们这个经济上出现问题时候呢，有一个帮助。
And we must make all this information available in different languages, so people know what programs are out there, both for tenants, landlords, and everybody. Right now, we're having election in Simple Chinese. I think we have our ballot. We need more languages, and we need it in the judiciary. We have our judge candidates here for Superior Court, Jill Beck. We need to make sure every part of our community, whether it's the judiciary, the executive branch, means all the departments, or it's us on the legislative branch, we do everything in a language, culturally competent manner. Because when you participate, we make more money in the city in revenue. We want people to come in. One last thing I want to talk about business. I'm really going to work to see if we can have a direct flight from China here. And work on that one.
很重要一点就是他希望政府部门的所有的这些条文和这个跟大家的这个填表格会有更多的语言在上面。举个例子，我们现在这个选举的时候上面已经有中文的，然后希望有各种不同的语言可以帮助到大家。然后呢，他也说他现在在想方设法的看我们可以有中国的直飞的飞机可以来到费城。
Yes. Thank you. Because this city used to have 2 million people. Now it's 1.56 million people. That gap we need to fill. When we have more people, we get more representation in the House, the Senate, in federal, in Congress. We get more money. With the population, when it's counted, we got more federal dollars. So we need to go back to that, and we need visitors to come and spend money here. That's revenue for us. Then we can have clean streets, more police, good schools, all of those things.
他说原来我们曾经有200万人在费城，现在已经降低到150多万人。他说我们希望有更多的人是住在这边住的人，然后有更多的来这边旅游的人，这样子才能给我们带来更多的收入。然后我们如果有更多的人去参加投票，这样子也可以在从联邦政府、州政府到市政府都可以得到更多的资金。
Well, we have another candidate, so we'll wrap it up. I just want to say first thank you for being here. Thank you for being interested in this. I hope all of you, those who can vote in Philadelphia, please go on November 7th, or if you have your mail-in ballot, make sure you fill it out. Remember, you have to vote for each candidate, right? You can't just push a button. You have to go down Supreme Court, Superior, Commonwealth, Superior, all the way down to Mayor and City Council. So I am 129 on City Council. Push my button and I hope to serve you. Thank you so much. And one last thing I want to tell you.
Excuse me.
Yes. You have a question.
My name is Michael. Yeah. I have a very simple question. Most of the Chinatown people against 76 Arena. What's your opinion?
Yes. So I've had conversations with lots of people who are signed that, including PCTC. I'm waiting to see the results of this the report they're doing. But I already know the report did not include certain areas. That's a problem already. Right? So I'm a scientist. I want to see where did you collect the data, and is that data correct? Just you tell me doesn't mean I believe you. So I understand the role Chinatown plays in people's lives. You know, when you go to a tea shop and we have senior citizens sitting there 2 hours drinking tea, that's mental health care. So we have to understand how do you preserve that. I understand something has to happen there. I get that. How we do it, whether an arena is the right one, it's only 141 games. What are they going to do the rest of the time? Are our businesses going to get business there? You know, because they use Aramark as one company that fits everything. I'm like, that's not going to work. You know, is there going to be housing? What's it going to do with traffic? So I'm going to look very carefully because I have a deep relationship with Chinatown. So you can rest assured, I'm not just going to say yes.
We come on you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
所以刚才提到的是七六人的问题，然后伊娜讲就是说她一定会确定我们这个中国城的人的利益，然后确定他们在做的报告当中每一个细节都是被非常详细的看到的，所以他会跟我们中国城的中国人都是一心的，一定会为我们着想的。谢谢。请这个商店的业主可以把这个放到大家的这个门窗上，谢谢啊。
Thank you so much, Shirley. It's really nice of you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Yes.
So we can take a break. 也可以吃点东西啊。
大家可以照相啊，所有乐手安迪不用啊，您不是。
想照一起照，大家一起照。
想照相的抓紧时间，好不好？啊，想照相的抓紧时间。
3、2、1。
请大家迅速回到座位上啊，好不好？回到你们原来的座位上啊，请大家回到原来的座位上，谢谢。请大家回到原来的座位上坐好啊！请大家回到原来的座位上坐好啊！休息2分钟之后啊，我们进行下一轮对这个会审应试大法官的参访，大法官参选人参访。休息1分钟啊。
是宾夕法尼亚州的，不是被国审，是宾夕法尼亚州大法官。
I expect to be I expect somebody like different.